Hello dear students, learners and all viewers. I warmly welcome you all to this important lecture on understanding global environmental issues. Dear students, as you know, our planet Earth is our only home. It provides us with air to breathe, water to drink, food to eat and land to live on. However, due to increasing climate change, rapid industrial growth, population explosion, shrinking forests, disappearing wildlife, urbanization, and careless use of natural resources, the balance of nature is being disturbed. This disturbance has given rise to what we call global environmental issues. These issues are not limited to one country or one region. They affect the entire world and every living being. Therefore, understanding them is not only an academic requirement, but also a moral responsibility. Therefore, it has become extremely important for us to understand the environmental issues our planet is facing and the role we play in them. Following are the objectives of today's lecture. Number one, to understand what global environmental issues are. Number two, to identify the major global environmental issues. Number third, to learn about the different causes and consequences of major global environmental issues. Number next is to know about the importance of environmental ethics in addressing major global environmental issues. Dear learners, these objectives will guide our discussion and help you develop both knowledge and awareness. Now, let us begin with the objective number one. Global environmental issues refer to the serious and interconnected problems that affect the natural environment on a worldwide scale and threaten the survival, well-being and future of all living beings. These issues arise when human activities disturb the delicate balance between nature and society, thus placing an immense pressure on the Earth's life support system. As a result, the planet is now facing multiple environmental challenges that go beyond national boundaries and require collective global action. The concept of global environmental issues is based on the understanding that the Earth is an integrated system in which air, water, land, climate, and living organisms are closely linked. Any damage to one part of this system affects the whole. For example, air pollution in one country can contribute to climate change across the globe, while plastic waste dumped in oceans can harm marine life thousands of kilometers away. Similarly, deforestation increases carbon dioxide, which contributes to global warming, which then leads to climate change and extreme weather. Thus, environmental problems are no longer local in nature. They have become global in their causes, impacts, and solutions. In simple terms, global environmental issues mean those environmental problems that influence the entire planet and all forms of life. These include climate change, global warming, air and water pollution, deforestation, biodiversity loss, ozone layer depletion, land degradation, and waste accumulation. Each of these problems threatens ecological stability, human health, food security, and economic development. Additionally, the solutions to these issues require efforts at the international level. Dear learners, in this lecture, we will discuss the major global issues that encompasses a wide range of interconnected challenges that affect societies, environments, and economies worldwide as a result of harmful effects of anthropogenic or human activities on the environment. Now, coming to the objective number 2, global environmental issues, causes and consequences. Dear students, now that we have understood what global environmental issues are, let us move forward to examine an even more important aspect, their causes and consequences. Understanding why these problems occur and what impact they have is essential if we truly wish to protect our planet. Global environment issues arise mainly due to unsustainable human activities. They affect our climate, air, water, land, biodiversity, and human health on a global scale. The major global environmental issues are: number 1, climate change and global warming. Climate change is a great concern in today's scenario. This problem has surfaced in the last few decades. Climate change refers to long-term alterations in temperature, rainfall, and weather patterns on Earth. According to Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change refers to change in the state of climate that can be identified by changes in the mean and or the variability of its properties, and that persists for an extended period, typically decades or longer. The major driving force behind contemporary climate change is global warming, which has led to an increase in the Earth's temperature, causing environmental changes. This increase in temperature across the globe is known as global warming, caused primarily by the excessive release of greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and chlorofluorocarbons due to human activities. Thus, these greenhouse gases are the major cause of climate change. Some causes include large-scale combustion of fossil fuels for energy and transport industrial processes, releasing carbon dioxide and methane. Deforestation, reducing carbon absorption capacity. Intensive agriculture emitting methane and nitrous oxide. Unsustainable consumption and production patterns. Consequences: long-term shifts in climate zones affecting agricultural, increased frequency of extreme weather events, accelerated melting of glaciers and polar ice, rising sea level threatening coastal populations, climate-induced migration and global inequality, ethical concerns regarding responsibility and climate justice. Now, air pollution. Air pollution may be defined as the presence of those substances in the air that are harmful to humans, other living beings, or the environment. Air pollution is the result of emissions from industries, automobiles, and the increasing use of fossil fuels. The gaseous emissions have added to an increase in the temperature of the Earth. More importantly, it has also increased the risks to the lives of human beings. Additionally, air pollutants alter atmospheric chemistry, reduce sunlight penetration, and disturb ecological processes. Urbanization and industrialization have intensified air pollution, making it one of the most immediate environmental threats to human Earth. Furthermore, air pollution also links to the ozone layer. It protects us from the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays, but this gaseous blanket is being destroyed through ozone-depleting substances like chlorofluorocarbons, destroying beneficial ozone, creating holes and increasing harmful UV rays, resulting in several skin diseases including cancer. Causes: emissions from vehicles and industries, thermal power plants and fossil fuel combustion, open burning of waste and crop residues, construction activities and dust, indoor pollution from biomass fuels, ozone layer destroyed by chlorofluorocarbons used in industries and everyday life. Now the consequences: chronic respiratory and cardiovascular diseases, premature deaths and reduced quality of life, damaged crops and natural vegetation, formation of acid rain affecting ecosystem, contribution to climate change through black carbon ozone layer leaves humans and wildlife exposed to harmful UV rays. Now the third important is water scarcity and water pollution. Water scarcity is not merely a lack of water, but a mismatch between water availability and demand. Water pollution further aggravates scarcity by rendering available water unusable. Water pollution is defined as the direct or indirect discharge of contaminants into natural water bodies, adversely affecting ecosystems, including aquatic organisms and plants. Together, they represent a severe threat to human survival and ecosystem stability. Freshwater resources are unevenly distributed and increasingly stressed by population growth, economic development, and climate change. Rivers, lakes, and aquifers are under immense pressure. Now, causes: over-extraction of surface and groundwater, industrial discharge of untreated effluents, agricultural runoff carrying chemicals, rapid urbanization and sewage generation, climate variability, altering rainfall patterns. So far as the consequences are concerned, it is drinking water shortages, spread of waterborne diseases, degradation of aquatic ecosystems, conflicts between regions and communities, ethical issues of equitable access and human rights. Another environmental issue is deforestation and habitat destruction. Deforestation and habitat destruction are among the most serious environmental challenges facing our planet today. Deforestation refers to the cutting or clearing trees and forests covering a large area without any intention of replanting them. This large-scale clearing of forests for agriculture, mining, urbanization, and infrastructure development disrupts natural ecosystems and destroys the homes of countless species, including both plants and animals. As habitats shrink or disappear, biodiversity declines, leading to species extinction and breaking ecological connectivity in the environment. Deforestation also contributes to climate change by reducing the Earth's capacity to absorb carbon dioxide, disturbing water cycles, and increasing soil erosion. Now the causes: expansion of agriculture and plantations, urban growth and infrastructure development, logging of timber and fuel, mining and industrial projects. Now, so far as consequences are concerned, it includes accelerated climate change and global warming, soil erosion and reduced water retention, loss of wildlife and ecosystem services, cultural erosion of forest-dependent communities. Now coming to loss of biodiversity and species extinction. Loss of biodiversity and species extinction is a critical global environmental concern that threatens the balance of life on Earth. Biodiversity loss refers to the rapid decline in the variety of life forms at genetic, species, and ecosystem levels. Earth is currently witnessing a mass extinction driven primarily by anthropogenic activities, rapid industrialization, habitat destruction, climate change, pollution, and overexploitation of natural resources have accelerated the decline of plant and animal species. Each species plays a role in maintaining ecological balance. As species disappear, ecosystems become weaker and less resilient, affecting essential services such as pollination, soil fertility, and climate regulation. The disappearance of even a single species can destabilize entire ecosystems. Similarly, biodiversity loss also undermines food security, traditional livelihoods, and cultural heritage. Now, causes: habitat destruction and fragmentation, pollution and climate change, overhunting and overfishing, introduction of invasive species. Now, so far as consequences are concerned, it includes ecosystem collapse, loss of food security and medicinal resources, reduced resilience to environmental change, ethical loss of intrinsic natural value. Now, another important environmental issue is electronic waste. Electronic waste has emerged as a serious environmental and public health issue in the modern digital age. No doubt, electronic devices contain valuable materials, but also hazardous substances that pose environmental and health risks if improperly managed. The rapid growth of technology and frequent replacement of electronic devices have led to a sharp increase in discarded items such as computers, mobile phones, televisions, and batteries. Improper disposal and informal recycling of e-waste release hazardous substances like lead, mercury, and cadmium into the environment, contaminating soil, water, and air. These toxic materials pose severe risks to human health and ecosystem. Thus, this e-waste represents the dark side of technological progress. Now, the important causes include short product life cycles, lack of recycling infrastructure, informal waste processing, consumers' lifestyles. Now, so far as consequences are concerned, soil and groundwater contamination, health risks for waste workers, resource wastage, toxic exposure across ecosystem. Now, one more important environmental issue is soil degradation and desertification. Soil degradation and desertification are serious environmental problems that threaten agricultural productivity and ecological stability. Undoubtedly, soil is a living system essential for food production, water filtration, and carbon storage. But soil degradation undermines these functions, while desertification permanently reduces land productivity. This occurs when unsustainable farming practices, deforestation, overgrazing, excessive use of chemicals, and improper land management reduces soil fertility and accelerate erosion. Over time, productive land loses its ability to support crops and vegetation, leading to desertification, especially in arid and semi-arid regions. This process affects food security, livelihoods, and rural economies, and increases poverty and migration. Now, causes include intensive farming and monoculture, excessive chemical inputs, deforestation and overgrazing, climate stress. Now the consequences: declining crop yields, food insecurity and hunger, rural poverty and migration, expansion of barren lands. Now, another important environmental issue is melting glaciers and polar ice caps. Melting glaciers and polar ice caps represent one of the most visible and alarming impacts of global climate change. Meanwhile, glaciers and ice caps act as Earth's freshwater reservoirs and climate regulators. But rising global temperatures are causing glaciers and ice sheets in the Arctic, Antarctic, and mountain regions to melt at unprecedented rates. This leads to rising sea levels, threatening coastal communities and low-lying islands, while also disrupting ocean currents and global climate patterns, thus signals deep imbalance in the climate system. The loss of ice reduces the Earth's ability to reflect sunlight, further accelerating warming. Additionally, millions of people who depend on glacier-fed rivers for water face increasing uncertainty. Now coming to the causes: rising global temperatures due to deforestation, burning of fossil fuels, etc., greenhouse gas emissions, deposition of soot and black carbon. Now, consequences include sea level rise, flooding of low-lying areas, disruption of freshwater supplies, altered global climate circulation. Dear students, after understanding the causes and consequences of global environmental issues, we must now ask an important question: how should human beings respond to these challenges? The answer lies in environmental ethics. Environmental ethics provides a moral framework for dealing with contemporary global environmental challenges. It helps learners recognize that major global issues such as climate change, global warming, pollution, biodiversity loss, and resource depletion are not merely scientific or economic problems, but ethical concerns rooted in human values, responsibilities, and choices at large. Keeping this in mind, let us understand the importance of environmental ethics in addressing major global environmental issues through the following points. Number one, provides a moral framework for action. Environmental ethics offers moral guidance for human actions by defining what is right or wrong in relation to nature. It helps societies evaluate development choices ethically rather than economically. Next, links human behavior with global environmental problems. This highlights how unethical human activities, overconsumption, pollution, deforestation are central causes of global issues, and how ethical awarenesses can reduce environmental degradation. Next is encourages responsibility beyond self-interest. Environmental ethics shifts thinking from short-term human benefit to long-term planetary well-being, fostering responsibility toward ecosystems, non-human life, and future generations. Next is promotes sustainable and balanced development. By emphasizing ethical limits on resource use, environmental ethics support sustainable development models that balance economic growth with environmental protection. Next is addresses issues of justice and equity. This underlines how environmental ethics helps address global inequalities, ensuring that environmental burdens and benefits are shared fairly, especially protecting vulnerable communities. Next, supports informed policy and decision making. Ethical principles strengthen environmental laws and policies by integrating scientific knowledge with moral responsibility, leading to fair and effective solutions to global environmental challenges. Strengthens conservation and biodiversity protection. Environmental ethics reinforces the intrinsic value of nature, motivating conservation efforts and protecting biodiversity from irreversible loss. Next is cultivates environmentally responsible citizenship. By achieving this, learners develop ethical sensitivity and environmental consciousness, enabling them to make responsible personal and collective choices that contribute to solving global environmental problems. In conclusion, we can say that environmental problems facing the world today, such as climate change, pollution, deforestation, loss of biodiversity, melting glaciers, and waste accumulation are closely connected. They are all the result of humanity's unsustainable use of natural resources. These challenges show that the Earth's life support systems are under serious pressure, and if harmful patterns of development and consumption continue, the balance of nature will be severely affected. Environmental ethics reminds us that nature is not merely a resource to be exploited, but a shared heritage with its own value. As the present generation, we have a moral duty to protect the environment for future generations. The message, "Save the environment, save the planet," reflects a deep truth. Protecting nature is essential for human survival. By conserving ecosystems, adopting sustainable lifestyles, spreading environmental awareness, and encouraging global cooperation, we can ensure a safer and healthier future. Human well-being is inseparable from the well-being of the earth. Choosing responsibility and respect for nature is not optional. It is the only way forward. That is all for today. May this knowledge inspire you to protect our planet Earth. Thank you and best wishes for your learning journey.